he did.
Yeah, that's gonna be my intro. I'm gonna eat this fucking baby. I'm David Goad from the band Kali Ra, and this is Newspeak, a show about culture, art, music, and more in a post-information society. I'm gonna eat this fucking baby. Satire, I guess, comes to mind, like classical satire, where I think Kierkegaard actually wrote about the satirist. You know, the satirist like embodies the thing that it's pretending to be rather than just being, and so maybe art can also be like that. And you know, I've seen it become politicized that way. But so a lot of artists are afraid of being Dixie chicked, which is a verb I just made up.
That's a pretty good verb.
Yeah. But, you know, where they make a commentary and then their audience goes, well, you're an artist or you're a musician. It's just your job to entertain and not to, you know, make commentary or whatever. Like, what is your reaction then to that?
I think that's pretty dumb. At least that's what I believe, because even though people may or may not give you money, I mean, I'm not a paid artist. I just kind of do this stuff freestyle.
Yeah.
And I don't exist for the purpose of other people, unless I really want to be, which in that case, it's fine. But I'm mostly doing art for myself, and I believe that most other artists probably do art as their own form of self-expression. And that's the most important thing, is just personalized self-expression. And you know, people can choose to take it or they can leave it, and a lot of people feel like they're forced to be a part of listening to a thing or watching a thing, and there is, no matter who you are, if you're going to be any kind of artist, you're going to be representing something in your own mind and philosophies and what you've experienced and been through, and when you express that, you're showing that, and people can choose to define you by it, and that's, they can do their thing. You can't stop people from making opinions about you and what you do.
That's true.
So, it's kind of like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess that's me now.
Yeah.
But, have you had any experience with that, with your art? Like, you make some kind of comment and somebody's like, you know, that's not the point of being an artist. Art's supposed to go above my couch.
Exactly. It's supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to, like, be a piece you can keep on your mantle and your parents can look at it and be like, yeah.
I'm not offended by that at all.
Yeah, I'm not offended by that. And I mean, there is a point where some art does become propaganda, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, maybe you want to teach people things with your art, and I think that's great. People should teach more people with art.
In the Renaissance era, that was how ideas and even like public instruction was you know, portrayed. That's how they disseminated information, was through paintings and murals, because there was a large section of the population that couldn't read. And so the church would then commission them to, like, you know, make a mural espousing some commandment or whatever. But it could also be like something civic, like, you know, hey, don't shit in the fountain everybody drinks out of.
Yeah.
You know, and there would be like some kind of mural or painting depicting that. That's not a literal example, but it would be something like that. And so artists, I guess, always kind of had that purpose of, you know, not just being something pretty to look at or giving you a feeling, it also gives you information, maybe about the artist or about something.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's good.
And part of the way that, I guess, art does that is through symbols and the use of symbology. So we'll go back to that now. You have lots of symbology in your artwork, and it seems that are you making a tarot deck?
That's something that I've thought about. I would like to,
Yeah.
but it would take many, many years, and it takes a lot of research. There's a lot that goes into tarot that I didn't even know about when I started doing it, and I even went into it as a skeptic, but they were so well crafted, and nobody really knows the origin of tarot. it's not entirely relevant, but it's so wonderfully and intelligently created where it kind of just reveals the shadows of your subconsciousness. And there's a lot of symbology, and it makes you wonder. But anyway, I've thought about making a tarot deck, and I have started making some random pieces of artwork that do represent a specific tarot card. And
so that's where I got that from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And because that one with the naked girl in it, that is a tarot card.
And the moon, and
Mm-hmm.
it represented something tarot-esque.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
So,
like a
yeah.
tarot card itself,
Yeah.
actually, called The World. In the Aleister Crowley deck, it's the universe. And that has a lot of symbology to it. It's very content-heavy. And, yeah.
So you could call your work content-heavy.
Yes.
Yes.
I try to make it content.
Layers. Onion-like.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I mean, some people aren't going to know what it means right off the bat, and that's why, at least if you have an inquisitive mind, you're going to try to learn about it and be like, well, what does that snake eating its tail mean? Or what does the naked woman with the wands in her hands mean? Or, you know, like, the random pentacles. So,
Right.
yeah.
So, Carl Jung wrote a book on symbology, and he espoused that a lot of these symbols that he talked about in the book were like common symbols in a lot of different cultures. He was a well-traveled, well-read man, and he called these symbols cognates because they pervade themselves in like different cultures. So like every culture would also recognize this symbol to mean something specific. And so art, you know, often has these cognates and these symbols, these classical symbols that represent something. So do you think then that art is in itself a language?
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that, when you look at it, it kind of registers in your subconsciousness as some sort of symbolism. If you think about your own dreams and just random things you'll see in that, and the way that it makes you feel in your relation to the object, and then the other things that are a part of the same picture, you're able to kind of decipher what it means, because it's kind of a universal language. You look at a painting and you know, like say a scenery of like, I don't know, some Renaissance feature where you have like, I don't know, I guess you could think of like the Sistine Chapel. Everybody knows that it's like supposed to be, hey, finger, God, Adam, whatever.
Right, the creation of Adam.
Yeah, and people are able to look at that, and even without some sort of explanation, people are like, okay, that's like some highly, those are sentient beings, and one is greater than the other, and powerful, and then the other guy, you know, like...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that painting itself that, you know, symbolic. The stance that God has, you know, sort of a fatherly figure, if you will, and,
yeah,
you know, up higher in, you know, perspectively in the painting than Adam is, and they're not quite touching fingers, but just almost. It's like the divine is just out of reach.
yeah, and
Yeah.
people, no matter what language you speak or what background you come from, you're able to kind of, even if you aren't the most intelligent human, you're able to kind of look at that painting and have an idea of what's going on, especially if you take some time to think about it. And sometimes you have to ruffle some feathers and make something very shocking to get people to stare at it for longer and really decipher what it means, especially if it's confusing. So
I think art's always been there for the common people. You know, it's always been the language of the common people, and you know, not necessarily the sort of like, I think people in this day and age, you know, especially in anti-intellectual circles, that they kind of view art as a sort of aristocratic thing, and, you know, artisticness to be this, like, you know, kind of aloof thing, and it's really not.
yeah, no. Anybody can grasp it.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, would you say that your art isn't aristocratic or something?
Not at all.
But it's visceral, I guess.
Thank you.
Yes. So, is there a place where people can view your art online?
Yeah, I have an Instagram, and then I have Facebook, my personal one, and then my professional page. That's called Nina Lauren Arts and Woodcrafts.
Nina Lauren Arts and Woodcrafts.
But my Instagram is something I keep more up to date with, and my username is Nina Could Be Lizards, all one word, and
also hypothetical.
Yep, see, even that one. But yeah, like it has a bunch of other shit on there, but.
So follow Nina on her Facebook and Instagram. We'll have the links below about where I'm pointing. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for stopping by and listening to our conversation.
I'm not going to drop that.
That's how you want to be remembered.